Thanks for joining us today. Great show lined up talking about tax reduction strategies and diversified withdrawals. What is that? Where are you drawing money from in your portfolio? And then talking about generating income without working. Let's have those assets work for you. The fear of missing out. I think a lot of us have that in different areas of life. And then retirees' biggest regrets. You'll want to stay tuned as we've got all that and much more coming up right here, right now.
Retiring Well, brought to you by Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan. Retiring Well, helping you plan for a successful and comfortable retirement. Retiring Well, plan to retire well.
All right, you've probably heard about being diversified with your investment tools that are out there, but what about being tax diversified and using tax diversification in your retirement plan to potentially save you some money on taxes? So when I think about being tax diversified, what that means is having multiple different tax wrappered accounts that you can use and draw from in retirement. So there's basically three different types of tax wrappered accounts. First one you have is a taxable account. So this is your traditional brokerage account. So you've got some cash at the bank, you want to invest in the stock market, you open up a brokerage account. Okay, now it's taxed a little differently. So you can either have long-term tax or short-term. So if you hold the investment for less than a year, when you sell that investment, then you're going to have taxable interest, okay? And that's different than if you held the investment for a year or more and then sold that position, you would have taxable gains, okay? And so those are taxed a little differently. Another tax wrappered account is your pre-tax account. So these accounts would be your IRA account, your 401k, your 403b, 457. So in these accounts, you haven't paid any tax, right? In fact, you got a tax deduction by putting that money into there, right? But when the time comes that you need to take money out of those accounts, well, then you're going to pay some tax on that. And that's just your normal income tax. And then the third and final tax wrappered account would be your after-tax account. Okay, so this is an account where you've already paid the tax on it. So down the road, when you need to take money out, you don't have to worry about paying tax later down the road. Now, these types of accounts, they'd be your Roth accounts. So your Roth IRA, your Roth 401k, Roth 403b. So ideally, it's in your best interest to have multiple different tax wrappered accounts when you get to retirement, because it allows some flexibility to be able to draw from different tax accounts and maybe save you some money on the tax side. So here's a great example of how we go about using these different tax wrappered accounts to minimize taxes and still meet your needs, your income needs in retirement. So I had a recent case where a couple came in, they had retired before the age of 65, and they didn't have health insurance in their retirement. So what they had to do was go on marketplace insurance. And luckily for them, thankfully, they had multiple different tax accounts that they could draw income from. Okay, so because they had to go on marketplace insurance, showing a certain amount of income means that they could qualify for a decent subsidy to offset the cost of their health insurance. But they still needed income to live on, right? So we were able to take money from their taxable account, okay, realize some long-term capital gains, show a little bit less income, and have a higher subsidy for their marketplace insurance. So it was a win-win for them, and it allowed them some flexibility to kind of take out more income from their portfolio without affecting their health insurance cost. Another great example is doing those Roth conversions, okay? So if you have the ability to pull money from a taxable account like a brokerage account, that gives you the flexibility to then pull money out of your IRA and convert it to Roth, show a little bit higher income, and save that Roth money for down the road when you think tax rates might be a little bit higher at that point. So it's crucial that if you just have one retirement savings account, maybe it's just a 401k or a 403b, take a look and see if you have the ability, the extra savings, to stock away some money in various other tax wrappered accounts like a brokerage account, or maybe open up a Roth IRA. It just gives you so many different levers that you can pull when retirement comes for income. If you have any questions about different tax wrappered accounts or how you're positioned for retirement, please don't hesitate to give the number on the screen a call. We'd be happy to help. And don't forget, check us out on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/retiringwell, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much.
As you are planning for retirement, where's your journey taking you? Do you know where you are going? How are you going to get there? And what's the best route to take? Do you have a personal retirement roadmap? At Centennial Wealth Advisory, we specialize in retirement planning, and we have designed a complimentary retirement roadmap video series that can be customized based on your personal circumstance and preferences. There is no cost and no obligation. Simply go to cen-wealth.com/roadmap and provide us with some basic information that will guide you to your on-demand, customized retirement roadmap video. Planning is the first step to succeeding. Plan to retire well.
Your grandchildren are precious to you. They are your life. This is your time to have that special relationship. Taking care of yourself is taking care of them. Centennial Wealth Advisory is offering a free, no-obligation retirement review to make sure you don't run out of money during your retirement. Centennial Wealth Advisory. Your best is yet to come.
Hi, my name is Jack Klunder, and I am a financial advisor with Centennial Wealth Advisory. I work out of our Cadillac office, and we specialize in retirement planning. We take a very holistic approach. We can help go through all the different aspects of planning that are involved in retiring well. So if you are nearing or in retirement and you have questions that you want to go over, please give the number on the screen a call, and we can have and set up a free, no obligation consultation.
You made it. Years of hard work, investing, planning, and now you're here. The long-awaited reward you spent a lifetime looking forward to. But what now? After years of growing a nest egg, now you may want to manage it. Use it to fund your dreams. Make it last as long as you need it. And leave some for those you love. So what do? Wall Street continues to be uncertain, and some conservative options have dropped through the floor. How do you maintain opportunities for growth and reduce risk of loss from market changes? That's where we come in. We are financial professionals. From investments and insurance products to tax reduction strategies and guaranteed retirement income you cannot outlive, provided by the claims-paying ability of insurance companies. You've worked a lifetime to get here. Let us help you enjoy it to the fullest. For a complimentary consultation, simply contact us today.
Let's talk about generating income without working. So upon retirement, some people may just never look back and not want to work at all. Others may want to pick up some type of part-time work just to stay involved, stay active, stay social. So one of those areas that you might consider would be a rental property. Now, my wife and I own rental properties and believe in real estate, but this can definitely create a lot of extra work. So may not qualify here. If you don't want to be working, maybe something to consider for additional income would be dividend stocks. So these stocks may pay out on either a quarterly basis or a monthly dividend that you can ultimately look at as some type of reward for investing in that company. Now, it's going to typically be more established companies that you would consider more of like a value stock, and it's going to have a longer track record of profitability, maybe greater liquidity than some of the newer growth types of stocks. They're going to generate a yield, so this is going to be sort of this annual dividend payout as a proportion of the share price. So just because it's higher doesn't always ensure that it's going to be a better stock to hold. You want to be careful that if it's going to be too excessive, that it could be unsustainable. At Centennial Wealth Advisory, there's different strategies that we'll utilize through money management that are going to continue to actively look at maybe 50 to 60 different types of dividend-paying stocks. And these stocks are going to be focused on companies that have a good, strong track record of paying good dividends and adjustments made as necessary. And another example is if a company cuts their dividends, or if the company's fallen out of favor, then maybe it's no longer time to hold that. Another option to consider may be a CD or bond or annuity ladder. And what I mean by that is ultimately choosing a different account that has a different maturity date and stretching those out over a period of time. So that might be with, as an example, with the banks. You might have a 3-month, 6-month, 9-month, 12-month CD ladder that you've done, and hopefully you're getting a little better interest as you go further out. Or you may look at, with the different insurance companies, there's different fixed annuities that are paying a set interest rate for a period of time. Maybe it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And so with interest rates having come up here over the most recent future, or recent times and everything, as we look into the future, that may be an option that you want to consider if you want to have some type of fixed return on your account with stability. Now, of course, you have to have the appropriate licenses and all that to be discussing all of those different areas. And that's something that if you haven't considered dividend stocks or some type of laddered approach, we'd encourage you to give us a call here at Centennial Wealth Advisory.
Living life isn't always easy. It puts up challenges and obstacles you'll have to overcome. There are responsibilities. You put in effort to provide and take care of your family, and to save and invest, to balance work and life. Planning is the first step to succeeding. Plan to retire well.
So I'm Candace Hamill, Executive Director of the Father Fred Foundation. The foundation has been here since 1989, founded by Father Fred himself after he left the state hospital. When those doors closed, he was worried about the community's needs when all of those patients who left. So since 1989, when our doors opened here, he's been providing food, emergency financial assistance, and clothing and household items for families and individuals in need, all the essential needs. What's really unique about our foundation is that we're 100% funded by community donations. We don't accept state grants, anything like that, so we can help those families that fall through the cracks. We're real excited this year about our back to school shoe program. We've been doing this for several years, but it was just in the last few years that we've actually taken it on the road to hit all 5 of our counties that we serve. So we're able to serve a whole lot more children to get ready to go back to school. These new shoes, they're very high quality. You know, we make sure they fit those kids' feet so they're comfortable and confident, and you know, they're alongside their peers with other new back to school items, and that they're ready to start the school year. We also have our Vision to Learn partners here with us. They're here donating all of their time, making sure kids' eyes are ready to go to school, and if in fact they do need prescription glasses, then Father Fred will cover that cost as well. It's a back to school shoe event. So what we do is we provide every child from if they're walking all the way up to their 12th grade of school, we provide new school shoes for back to school shoes. That includes socks, we provide school supplies. Of course, I mentioned earlier the vision screenings to make sure that kids are ready to go back to school. The whole idea about getting on the road to the other counties is a lot of our families are so rural and transportation is a significant barrier, so we want to make sure that those kids are served as well. And then finally, we can't do it without the volunteers. We've had such an amazing turnout of organization teams coming and just hammering it out with these kids, and super great energy. It's a little bit crazy around here sometimes, but it's a good kind of crazy.
At Centennial Wealth Advisory, we take a holistic approach to your retirement planning. So it's not just looking at what your investments are, but what is that long-term income plan for the next 30, 40 years of your retirement? What about taxes and what role they play in your retirement plan? Estate planning, what about life insurance, health insurance planning, all key areas to consider when looking at your retirement. So please visit our website or call the number on the screen. We'd love the opportunity to sit down with you for a no-cost, no-obligation visit.
You know, as children, I think we all had a fear of something growing up, or maybe a lot of different fears, right? One of my children, my oldest son, he has a fear of missing out on something. Some people call it FOMO, fear of missing out. And his thing is he always thinks there's something better going on maybe, or if he doesn't do X, Y, he's going to miss on Y, or something like that. So in the morning, oftentimes he gets out of bed, even on summer mornings, a little earlier than he should, when he has the opportunity to sleep in, because he's fearful he's going to miss out on some exciting thing or something happening versus just kind of letting the day come to him and so on. So what does that have to do with investing? Well, oftentimes investors have this similar fear of missing out. This fear of missing out on a run-up in the stock market, a fear of missing out on the next greatest stock or next greatest investment that's out there, a fear of making more money when maybe they're in a conservative portfolio, the fear of they're missing out on better growth somewhere else. So this fear that you're missing out on an opportunity or a better event can be a challenge, not only for a young boy, but also as an investor. So that's when we talk about the emotions of investing, and a lot of times coming back to being some of the hardest things to deal with as you're investing for anything, but specifically for that long-term retirement. So how do you circumvent this? How do you challenge this fear into something that you can create it manageable and so it doesn't derail your plan over time? So have a plan in place is one of the biggest things you can do to help have this steady path so that you won't always have this fear. Have a plan. That plan should include, from not only obviously from an investments, how am I invested, but what are my long-term goals? What am I accomplishing? If it's at retirement, is it trying to produce income in retirement? Is it being tax efficient? Is it passing on a legacy? All these different things. So having that clear-cut plan will help avoid some of those FOMO activities out there that exist. So what could happen if you don't have a plan? Well, that fear can overtake you that you might be missing out on something, and you might choose to invest in something that maybe is outside of your comfort zone, maybe is outside of your risk tolerance, or even worse yet, is outside of even what you're trying to accomplish and can really make a step backwards if it doesn't work out. How often have you heard of that happening? Something or seen something out there where, oh, I bet you that stock's going to take off or that investment's going to be the next greatest thing. And yet, a few years later, maybe that company doesn't even exist or that investment hasn't performed as expected. Yes, there's success stories out there and the what ifs, hindsight being 2020, we should have all bought something, some time ago and had this investment. But again, so this fear of missing out is a real thing out there, and it's not just investing, and it's not just for like my son out there with that, and it's a lot of different things in life. And I think for many of you out there, you understand that, and kind of when you think about it, you'll feel that. But don't let it overcome your investments. Don't let it change your plan or change your philosophy with investing because you have a fear of missing something that. Having healthy fears of things is okay. A fear of risk, right? A fear of losing too much. We don't want to have that situation arise. But again, making sure that you have that plan in place will help give you the confidence knowing that I don't need to chase that maybe latest, greatest thing. That this plan I have set forth with the savings goals I have in place, with the time horizon, these other things, that's going to help move me forward in this. So again, I hope you find that helpful, and I hope that fear doesn't overrun your retirement planning so you can plan to retire well. So for those of you that wish to have a little bit more, watch us more often, we'd like to remind you out there to follow us on our YouTube channel. You can like it, share it, follow along, and if you follow it, you're able to subscribe and get updates when we post new videos, the weekly television show, and we do these short clips often on there where we have just maybe one individual topic, real short, and you can quickly learn through that in the process. As always too, if there's more information or you'd like to talk more about your financial plan, your retirement plans and aspirations, give us a call at the number on the screen. We'd love to sit down with you for a no cost, no obligation free consultation to help you plan to retire well.
If you like watching Retiring Well, make sure to go to youtube.com/retiringwell and click the subscribe button to never miss any of our TV shows and other informative videos.
Are you nearing retirement or in retirement? Have you had your portfolio just looked at or have a second opinion on that portfolio recently? Centennial Wealth is a full-service advisory firm, and we have multiple locations in northern Michigan. I'm in the Gaylord office primarily. The office is right downtown Gaylord. Also up in the Petoskey office as well. That office is right off of 31. I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to sit down and chat, and it's a free, no-obligation consultation, so just call the number on the screen.
As you are planning for retirement, where's your journey taking you? Do you know where you are going? How are you going to get there? And what's the best route to take? Do you have a personal retirement roadmap? At Centennial Wealth Advisory, we specialize in retirement planning, and we have designed a complimentary retirement roadmap video series that can be customized based on your personal circumstance and preferences. There is no cost and no obligation. Simply go to cen-wealth.com/roadmap and provide us with some basic information that will guide you to your on-demand, customized retirement roadmap video. Planning is the first step to succeeding. Plan to retire well.
Hey, welcome to this segment on retirees' biggest regrets. If you think about talking about financials and money, it becomes quite personal pretty quickly. And we are in a position to hear a lot of stories, and we're consumers of financial news, so we also read about stories. So let's review some of the retirees' biggest regrets. The first one is having a vague financial plan. Too many times we'll see people come in and they will say, yep, I have my taxes done by so-and-so, and I have some investments, and I have some beneficiary information on my 401k. I think I'll be okay with my health care, but they don't have a crystal clear, coordinated plan. And so as they enter retirement, some of their regrets is not learning what they need to know in preparation. They know because they're experiencing their retirement life with a sense of uneasiness, and they regret not getting a more crystal clear plan sooner. The next one is not having goals in retirement. There's a physician, he retired, he had money, and he had time. He just had no direction. And so what he regretted was not having a better idea of what he wanted to do with his time and that freedom of not relying on a job for his money. So he had to go find a mission, and he wanted to go look at what am I going to do in my retirement now that I get a new season of life. The next one, counting on long-term employment. There was a college professor who had gained tenure, and his plan was to work until he was 70 in order to maximize his Social Security benefits. Then he started getting neuropathy in his foot. He couldn't feel, and his idea of working and having that consistent income suddenly vanished. He could no longer teach. Physically had an impairment that didn't allow them. It really changed his retirement plan. And not having a backup plan or a what-if plan is one of his biggest regrets. This next one is pretty sad. It's losing touch with those adult children. You know, I'm in the position where I still have young children, but our goal, my wife and I, is to have healthy adult relationships. And we have to transition from 11 years old to that phase of life. And it's going to be a challenge in order to keep our sanity in our relationships. But I hear too many times where clients will come in and, you know, we'll have Kleenex because we're both crying as they talk about the lack of relationship or the hurt, and there's been no letters, no reconciliation, and their regret is they just focus so much on their jobs, they neglected their kids, and now their kids are adults and they have time in retirement, but they don't have the relationship, and so huge painful regrets. You know, maybe another regret is experiencing drawbacks of early retirement. There were a couple teachers, they bought 5 years when they entered the workforce. They were on track and were able to retire at 48 years old. Here's the problem. None of their friends were retired. All of their friends that they wanted to hang out with and have connections with and community with were going to work. And so they didn't really think about that, you know, were they gonna go get a bunch of younger friends? It wasn't a good fit for them. And so they had to like reimagine what, you know, retiring early was going to look like. This next one is maybe another regret, not focusing on what really matters. There was a manager, successful manager, super successful in his career. The only thing is he lost everything that he cared about, ended up going through divorce and had all this pain that he had to go through. And then as he was able to get remarried, what he realized is he said, never sacrifice your soul or your soulmate. You know, so he had to learn from that painful experience in order to not repeat it. The next one, failing to go at a slower pace. How easy is that to fail at? You get so busy and so worked up, you know, taking care of so many things, and all of a sudden you're retired, and just that need for busyness can flow. So taking a deep breath, taking that long walk, taking that time to just think and let down and reorganize what your calendar and what your time is going to look like is super important. The next one is not starting a second act career sooner. There was an accountant, okay, she didn't really like her job, so she retired and she started a little business called Critter Sitters, walking and dealing with people's pets. Loved it. Her regret, not starting that earlier. The next one is a lack of purpose. People retire, they don't have the purpose, and they don't know what to do. Here's a quick little idea. Find a mission other than yourself. Go volunteer, go find that place where you can go help, you can have those connections, and you can have that value and that reward. And finally, not factoring in inflation. You know, we know that it's going to be there, and a regret of not planning for those increased costs. So, I hope you enjoyed that quick little segment there. And as always, you can find us on youtube.com/retiringwell. Be sure to like, subscribe, and tell a friend. Thank you.